Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are having a great day. So this is a clip from a previously recorded video. This is a much shorter clip of it. But as always, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. And I'm invested in closing companies. And if you enjoy this type of content, hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. And let's get into the clip. Cost to mine Bitcoin for all the miners for Q4. And here's what the numbers that we do have for them. Couple things to note. I didn't include in here Cypher. Cypher only started mining for themselves, I believe it was in December. So we don't have any real data on them for Q4. We'll get that data in Q1 of this year, which will be nice because before that they were mining, but they were getting only, well, they were mining with a joint venture, which they only had a 49% stake in that. So they were reporting whatever that was generated in Bitcoins was being put on there as assets, I believe, based on the reporting requirements for that. So that's why we don't have any data for Cypher right now. Also, Argo, Bit Digital, and Core has not provided their Q4 results. So those are omitted, and there might be other ones here as well that I just don't have the data on them. So these are the ones that we do have here. And this is based on Q3 comparison versus Q4 of 2022. So we got Marathon, Sphere, DMG, Bitfarms, CleanSpark, Riot, Hive, TerraWolf, Hut8, DigiHost, and Mawson in here. Okay. So the way I did this, I took the number of Bitcoins that they mined for that quarter Q3 and Q4, also what their Q3 costs were reported in both of those months. So if we look at ones here for Marathon, cost of revenues, energy, hosting, and other things, this is what they're reporting here. So it's all in there under that one for them. And then we were using the Q3 and then Q4 numbers for it. And for the ones that are kind of off here, which let me see if I can find one. TerraWolf, I can see why they're off here a lot, especially in Q3 compared to Q4. But what else did I see that was kind of high up here? Mawson was also pretty high here as well for this one. So if you look at this one here, 18, this is what they reported, 14, 18, but they also had a lot of curtailment done. They did get energy for it. So this is less cost of revenues, excluding depreciation. So that's, I don't know how much they put into it all, but they put in a lot, obviously, into it. And that's kind of the numbers we're getting for it. So it would be nice to have it broken down with just energy and maybe the operations side of things. So much would it actually cost for them? If all the miners could do that, that would be great. But this is kind of the things I'm dealing with here with the numbers that are provided for us, okay? So there's some of the explanations for it. Let's take a look at the numbers that we do have for them. And we'll do it on right here. So we'll do Q4 really quick here as far as how it looks. Then we'll do a comparison between Q3 and Q4 as well. So Marathon came in at number 1 right now with, based on the information that's provided, at approximately $10,158 per Bitcoin to mine one. Sphere came in at number 2 at $10,169. Then we got DMG at $11,941. Bitfarms came in at $12,157. CleanSpark at $13,335. Riot pretty close to that as well, $13,362. Hive pretty close to that as well, 13,638. I'm guessing that's kind of like the sweet spot right now for the miners. The ones that are a little bit below that, I wonder if they're not providing all the information in their numbers, but it's still not that bad. I think the difference is pretty close to where we've seen it before. So I'm leaning to believe that these numbers are pretty close to what they actually are. TerraWolf at 13,966, which is really good too. They just really started ramping up production as well, so that's good to see. That actually came down quite nicely from Q3. Then we got Hut8. Hut8 is another one where they also have well, let's just take a look at Hut8, and I'll provide you guys with that information here. And let's see here. Hut8, site operation costs, they don't break it down based on high performance computing, self-mining, and then they also, yeah, so they don't split those up. It's all in one cost. So I could possibly figure out the percentage that they got of revenue and then subtract that from the expense side of things. Maybe that would get us a little bit closer, but that's kind of what I'm dealing with on that one. Got to think about how I want to do that one. So DigiHost or Hut8, obviously pretty high there, 23,000. I'm guessing they're going to be closer to probably 13, 14,000 after that, depending on the pricing that they had, obviously, for the electricity in Canada at that time. They are dealing with a lawsuit with one of their providers. So that's in the works. So that one's kind of off a little bit, I think. And then DigiHost also came in at 47,633. That's a weird one too here. You can see here that they reported $9 million in cost of power, which is kind of strange based on where they were the prior quarters. So they reported for fiscal year 2022 a total of 14.5 million. And based on that information, when we looked at Q1, Q2, and Q3, you can see that their power costs were way down here. Not so, I don't know why this one is so high at 9,000 or 9,186,000 for Q4. Based on if I take the fiscal year 22 numbers and subtract the first 3 quarters, that's the number I get. So don't know if there's something wrong there or not, or if I just made a mistake on it, but that's kind of what we're looking at here on that one, okay? So that's how that one's shaped up. Mawson is at 61,265. Now Mawson also has, take a look at Mawson here really quick as well. That one came in at pretty high here. They didn't mine a lot. They only mined 110 Bitcoins during the quarter, looks like, which could be the reason why. But they have been doing more of hosting than anything else. And I think that's the hosting that's driving this price of Bitcoin for them way up, because we don't have it split up between hosting and self-mining. Okay, so that's kind of the explanation there. And I would expect it to be, I would hope that it's going to be much lower than where it is right now at 61,000. So that one's probably way off on that based on what I just spoke about, okay? Now, if we look down here at the differences between Q3 and Q4, we can see that Marathon in Q3 was way up there at 22,035. They're down now to 10.16 thousand, which is more in line where I think they should be. Then Spheres was at 15,000 in Q3, down to 10, so that's good. DMG, pretty close to where they were before, about 1,000 less, 12.89 in Q3 and 11.94 in Q4. And then Bitfarms went up a little bit here from 10.22 to 12.16, and that's okay. We know that electricity prices went up a little bit, so I think that has an effect on it. And then also the CleanSpark here, 8.12K in Q3 to 13.34. They obviously had a lot more machines get installed. I think that's the reason for that. They did some curtailing also. I believe it was in December a little bit there. I think that maybe that's why that's offset a little bit there. Riot, pretty close to where they were also, down a little bit though, from 14.02 to 13.36, so that's good. Hive, on the other hand, is way up here from 9.89 to 13.64, and that could be also based on that during Q3, they were still mining Ethereum a little bit for about, what was that, about a half, it was, let me see here, July, August, for, well, a majority of the month, it looks, or majority of the quarter. So that's possibly why that was down lower. Obviously, they had better economics that way. That stopped in Q4, so we saw the price go back up to where some of these other miners are. TeraWulf was starting out, so that's expected to be at 44.28 thousand per Bitcoin because they were just ramping up production. Now they're back down to 13.97, which is good. And then Hut 8 was at 20.64 back then, up a little bit to 23.21. And then DigiHost was, like I said, at 15.94, which seems more in line here than the 47,000. So I think there's either something wrong with my math or something wrong with their math. And then Mawson has stayed pretty close to where they were before as well. 64, down a little bit to 61. So like I said, I think they're including the hosting in there as well, which is skewing these numbers quite a bit here, okay? So that is it. Like I said, it's going to be pretty fast and easy to get through it. And we'll update this once we get quarter Q1 results, okay? So that is it. Let me know what you guys thought of all this, if you enjoyed it or not, if you like the new spreadsheets and all the dashboards stuff, and we'll go from there. As always, spreadsheets are available to my Patreon members, so thank you to everyone there for their continued support. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting on not only Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon. Love hearing from you guys. Love discussing with you guys there. So thank you very much for that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.